So my name is Brian Yost. I'm a SharePoint developer at Potomac Wave Consulting. I just copied this information into the chat box, so you can reach out if you want to. But let's go over the agenda here today. Introductions, again, my name is Brian Yost. Today we're going to be going over the new small business dashboard and the associated email alerts. We'll be going over, essentially the small business goaling report that's in FedDataCheck's and a report that we have that's fairly similar. So we'll start out by going over what qualifies an award to be included in that report. That's the small business goaling report. So we'll be looking at, what qualifies certain awards to fall into certain categories: women-owned small business, hub zones, service disabled veteran-owned, and we'll take a look at that in 1 minute. We're also going to look at the types of contracts that are excluded from the FedDataCheck's small business goaling report. Then we're going to go to the new FedDataCheck's small business dashboard, go over the main report there, and then we're also going to look at some of the other pages on that dashboard, which include our DataCheck 121, which is a mismatch against SAM regarding the contracting officer's business size determination. And the another report we have on there is the small business coding corrections page. Then we're going to go over the FedDataCheck email alerts that should help increase the small business spend. And then finally at the end, we're going to go over FedDataCheck and Potomac Wave on the whole. We do that every week, so we save it on the end, so it's not repetitive. I will say before we dive in, if anyone has a question at any time, go ahead and you can raise your hand using that dashboard you have for the GoToMeeting, or you can type a question into the chat box. Everyone is muted, but if you do raise your hand, I'll go ahead and unmute you and we can get to your question. Okay, so I'm going to hop in right now and talk about what awards are included in that small business report. If anyone's not familiar with that, I'll actually just go to it real quick now. You go into FedDataCheck and you have to sign in to see this report. Go into standard reports. I actually have this one already favorited, but you would go to what? Actually, I believe it. Maybe it's not what. Maybe it's where. Let's see. Who? I actually never look at this because it's a favorite report of mine. Oh, you go to how. So click on how, and then you scroll down to small business goaling report. So the description of that report is, this report displays the dollars, actions, and percentages for small business contracts. The goaling exclusions apply to this report. This report is run by funding agency. So what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to show you our version of this report, which is really just mimicking the report to try to have the exact same logic used. But we add a few more analytics that FedDataCheck is known for. So what would be included in this report? So we're going to go over this by category. If it's a small business, action in dollars, small business, the only thing that qualifies an action to be included then is for the CO business size determination to be small business. That's it. There's going to be some other disqualifiers that we'll go over in a second, but if it's an eligible award to be a small business and it has that CO business size determination, go ahead and you're fine. That's a small business award. Veteran-owned small business, actions in dollars. This is going to be repetitive for all of these. Every one of these categories is going to have that CO business size equals small business. But for veteran-owned, it would also need to have vendor's business type as veteran-owned. For small disadvantaged business, SDB, needs to be a small business for the CO business size determination, and vendor's business type is SBA certified SCB, or a self-certified SCB, or an 8A program participant, or a joint venture. So it can be a small disadvantaged business and be be 8A and not have the self-certified or SBA certified SPV designation. Also, women-owned small business, actions in dollars. Again, small business for CO business size determination. And the vendor has to have a business type of women-owned or women-owned small business, or joint venture women-owned small business, or economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, or economically disadvantaged joint venture women-owned small business. SDVO, service disabled veteran-owned small business, actions in dollars. Again, small business for the CO business size. and the vendor's business type is SDVO. That's a simple one. SBA certified hub zone actions in dollars, small business again, and the vendor's business type is hub zone certified or hub zone joint venture. Last one here, SBA certified 8A actions in dollars. It's where this has to be small business, and the type of set aside is one of the following values: 8A sole source, 8A with hub zone, or 8A competed. And then there's the eligible small business actions in dollars. So this is the pretty much the sum of what all these different numbers would be compared to. So this is the sum of all actions in dollars after exclusions are applied. We're going to go into those exclusions in just a second here, but first we're going to go into a poll. I actually have the question in the PowerPoint. I haven't done the poll before, so I'm going to get that up now. 1 second. And I'm hitting launch. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. But yeah, the question is, which of these codings would be excluded from the FPDS&G Small Business Goaling Report? I'll give this about a minute. I will say, we give out CLP certificates at the end of all of these. You do have to participate, so you would have to, make sure that you are kind of paying attention to the meeting and also answer all the poll questions. All over the place right now. I'm looking at the results. It's actually 25% all across the board at the moment. I'll give it about 15 more seconds here. So if you haven't yet, hop on, just give it a quick answer. All right. I'm going to give it about 5 more seconds. All right, I'm going to close the poll. Make sure you can see my screen again. All right, so for the poll, let's see what people said. There was a tie there for 33% said 8A set aside, but vendor is not an 8A. So that actually, that was my trick one in there. All you need for an 8A to be included in that report and for it to count as an 8A award is for there to be an 8A set aside and for the CO business size determination to be a small business. There's no need for, at least for the report logic, for the vendor to be an actual 8A. So we've seen examples when playing around with the data where there was an award with an 8A set aside, had a CO business size determination of small business, but we went and looked at SAM, that vendor wasn't a actual 8A business. But that wouldn't exclude it from the report. Now I'm seeing a PSE code of S11 Utilities. That's also a trick one, very close. The PSE code that's excluded from that report is S11 Utilities Electric. So I'm sorry that was a little deceiving. But the correct answer here is going to be vendor with sheltered workshop designation as Y. So that's essentially that's an ability one, and those are excluded from the small business goaling report. You can have technically they could be a small business, they could be certified that way, but any award that goes to an ability one, again, sheltered workshop designation equal to Y, it's going to be removed from that report. And a few people did actually say the award with the principal place of performance outside of the U.S. and funded by Veterans Affairs. I believe, and I could be not 100% on this, but I believe that if an award is funded by DOD and the principal place of performance is outside the U.S., that used to mean it would be excluded. At this point, I actually do think those are included as well. Let's jump back into the PowerPoint here. Good job to everyone who got that 17% who got that answer right then. So let's go over those contracts that are excluded from the small business goaling report. So the first one there we just covered, SAM-based sheltered workshop designation flag equal to Y. So if you're a vendor that has that sheltered workshop flag, you would be excluded from the report. Unicore DUNS numbers, they're specified in Appendix A. I'll open that up right now. Appendix A is in the actual, essentially all the rules for the report that we're gonna be going over here. They're all in one place. I'll open up that tab right now. You can take a look at it. Oops. One second. PowerPoint's freaking out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so this is the Small Business Goaling Report. It just gives you the description and all the rules here. But if I go all the way down to the bottom, there's a list of DUNS numbers that would be excluded from the report. And they're all these Unicor DUNS numbers. And then there's awards with the American Institute in Taiwan. That was just on the list. That also would be excluded from the report. And acquisitions by agencies on behalf of foreign governments, that's also excluded. So I pulled up an example here. I'm going to click through, open this link. This is an OPM award. That would be excluded from the report, and any small business designation that it had would be thrown out. They wouldn't get credit for it. So let's see here. So this is, again, it's an OPM award. It had an action obligation of $1.5 million. And if I look at the purchaser information under the foreign funding field, it says foreign funds, non-FMS, essentially saying it's a foreign funded contract, so it would be thrown out of the report. But if I scroll down a little more and look at the principal place of performance of this contract, it is in Washington, D.C. So that's a red flag right there. Also, if I scroll down and just see what this is for, it's for other computer-related services. I'll scroll down to the very bottom, and you can see that the CO business size determination is small business. So, you know, there's a chance, sure, this could have been a foreign-funded award. That's why that field is in there. That's why that designation is not always grayed out, and people can go in and make their selection. But I would take another look at that because it's just very rare that you'd see a foreign-funded award in the continental, you know, the place of performance is in the continental United States. Someone says the audio has improved. All right, that sounds good. But let's ask one other poll question here about foreign funding, where the principal place of performance is the United States. I'm going to pull up that poll right now. And it's launched. Okay. So the question here is, what is the number of FY18 civilian agency actions where the the actions are foreign funded, the principal place of performance is inside the U.S., and the CO business size determination is small business. So again, FY18 only we're looking at civilian agencies and actions, foreign funded, the work is being done or the products are being sold inside the United States, and the CO business size determination is small business. I'm looking at now, a lot of people are putting in, thinking this is going to be a low number. A lot of people saying less than 5. Keep the poll going for another 10 seconds here. Okay. All right, I'm going to close it up. Close. Okay. So the results here, half of you guys, 50%, said less than 5 actions, which is what you would hope. Because again, it seems really unlikely that this should happen and it would be correct, where there would be a foreign-funded award that was designated as a small business, funded by a civilian agency. It just seems unlikely. But that would, sadly, that's not correct. 33% of you said less than 50, 6 said less than 200, and 13% said more than 200. The 13%, I believe, are the correct ones here. I've just pulled up a report. This is our one of our other tools we have. It's the Excel ad hoc FedDataCheck tool. It's my favorite feature that we offer. And some departments are actually blocked from using it for firewall issues. But if you're unaware of it, and I would recommend shoot me an email and we can talk about this. It's really a great tool to use. But what I've done here is I'm looking at FY18 actions. Actually, FY18 awards, I'll throw actions in right now. The number's about the same, yeah. FY18 actions, where the principal place of performance is the United States of America. The award is, or the CO business size determination is small business. And we're only looking at civilian agencies. And the number of actions is actually 240, so pretty high number. And again, these are all ones I would double check. I would go through and, if you wanted this Excel report, all you have to do is shoot me an email. I'd go through and just take a look at all of these ones, because any of these are likely to be miscoded, and they're being removed from your small business goaling. So the ones that are high dollar value really could potentially have an effect there. All right. Also, a few more. This is our last three here, or last two of contracts that are excluded from the small business goaling report, which we covered earlier. Awards of product or services for utilities, S112. I think in the poll I threw S114 just to throw people off. But here's an example of one here. We'll open up into FEDS. This is a Veterans Affairs Award. The action obligation was $1.5 million. You can see here. I'll scroll down a little bit. And it says S112 Utilities Electric, so that's the PSC code, that throws it out. 221112, that was the NAICS code. That doesn't have an effect on it, but it just kind of shows that it's matching up with what the PSC code is. The description says electric utility supply, so everything is suggesting to me that this is coded correctly. Even if I scroll down here, you'll see the CO put down small business. I'm sure this is a word that was coded correctly and not a red flag. But it is interesting when you start diving into this data. You can see awards go out to businesses that rarely have awards with that PSC code. And if you see that, that might mean that there was just a mistake when hitting that drop down and putting the wrong PSC code in, and that would remove a small business if that was the case. And then lastly, reason not competed value, reason not competed field value of RES, so that's for resale. Again, so yeah, that was removed from the report. There are more exclusions. I've linked them. I've linked that page that lists them all in this email. I'm not going to go over all of them because there really are a lot. I'll promise you that we factored those into the report that we'll show you in a few minutes. But let me just go over this last example here of this reason not competed field value of RES for resale. There was a Department of Commerce award. I'll open that link here. That did have that resale for reason not competed. I'm going to scroll down to the competition information. Which actually, first I'll say the action obligation of just under $500,000. So now we're going to that competition information, and you can see in the other than full and open competition field, it says authorized resale, FAR 63025A22. I've also linked that FAR reference in the PowerPoint, so let's go to that real quick. Okay, so 6302, make sure I get the number right. 6302-5A22. Head down to 5A22. So this is just saying the agency's need is for a brand name commercial item or authorized resale. Although if I look at resale here in this report, it's brought up in other places, and it's really saying that purchases of brand name commercial items for resale through commissaries or similar facilities. So this is mostly something you would expect to see in a DoD contract, not in a contract with the Department of Commerce. Not to say that it's not correct, but it's again one that I would look at again because it seems unlikely, at least to me, that there would be a commissary-related product that we purchased through commerce and then sold in a commissary. Again, if actually we look at that award real quick, the description is Cisco SmartNet maintenance renewal. Again, that doesn't seem like something that would be set aside for resale, but that's how the coding worked on that one. Someone asks, is including S11 electricity in our FY18 SB goals this year based on a memo from SBA? Have you heard about that? You know, actually, and that's Christine asking. Christine, I don't know if that's the reason why it is excluded. Let me pull up that page that from FPDS that goes over all these rules. Let's see. So it says it right here. This is just a list of exclusions from the report. I'll highlight it here. It just says product or service or product service codes for utilities S112. A lot of these different rules here of the exclusion rules will have a date next to them if they're fairly new. So if you look just above it, it says product service codes for leases in the format of X ... and it says data are included when the sign date is equal to or greater than October 1st, 2013. And if you scroll through this report, you'll see a lot of dates in here. If there's something new, it'll say these go into effect at a certain date. So I'm not sure if this is new or not. I would bet it's not new, but we can look into that and get back to you. Again, I've linked that report there, all those rules, all the logic for that report in the PowerPoints. You can just click through and look at those after this if you'd like. But now I'm going to switch over and we're going to start talking about the new small business dashboard. Yeah, it says actually, yeah, Bob just passed me a note confirming this. He said the S112 exclusion has been around for about 10 years. At least 10 years, he said. So it could have been longer, but we'll go in and look at that and try to find that date for you. So yeah, the FedDataCheck's small business dashboard. Small business dashboard can be found on any of the FedDataCheck sites using that main menu on the right-hand side. You're going to hover the cursor over small business and you'll see a drop-down, and you just go ahead and click on small business dashboard. So the small business dashboard, we look at small business categories. We also look at socioeconomic categories that aren't related to small business specifically. So some of the numbers will be repeated because awards can fall into multiple categories. The small business dashboard does show a breakdown of actions and dollars by all of these different categories for small business and socioeconomic. And we include parameters on the right-hand side of the report that allow you to filter by funding agency, funding office, award date range. We also include drill-throughs on the reports to show different small business socioeconomic categories. So I'm going to hop over now to, let's start with Interior. I know Interior is kind of a popular department that takes part in these webinars, so we'll start there. Again, what you do is you're going to rest that mouse right over Small Business and open up Small Business Dashboard. So then you have some choices to make. Select organizations. I'm just going to go with, you can do all bureaus if you want. For now, I'm just going to do NPS, National Park Service. And I'll hit apply. So we've mentioned this is a new report. You know, anything that's new usually is not the fastest thing. We are going to work to speed it up a little bit in the coming weeks, and also we'll probably add some additional functionality after we get some feedback from everybody. Actually, seeing that there, that actually wasn't too bad. That was under 30 seconds, and that's usually something we're happy with. All right, so this is what it looks like. It's going to give you a breakdown by all these different socioeconomic groups. Anything that's blue and underlined is hyperlinked, so you'll be able to drill through. So I look through here, everything that's highlighted in this yellow, that counts towards a small business percentage. So that's actually kind of what's reflected in that small business report in FPDS&G. So at the bottom you'll see we have the total small business eligible actions in dollars for National Park Service for this fiscal year. That number is 4,358. So everything is a percentage of that total, and then the total number of dollars over here on the right. So let's just start by looking at, let's look at 8A. So this is going to open up in a new window. This will be our drill through page. It's more of a detailed look at whatever category you select. So here we are here. This is the details page. We're looking at SBI certified AA awards. So that again means any award where the CO business size determination was small and it had one of those 3 8A set-asides. So we'll give you 2 charts here. The first one is showing the top vendors by the awarded dollar. And then we also have a chart showing you the awarded dollars by month for the fiscal year. Or if you chose a different date range, it would just show those months. I'll scroll down here into the meat of the report. We link, just like our other FedDataCheck reports you're familiar with, we always provide the contract identification info, and we hyperlink that so you can draw out to FPDS&G. But we give you some good information here that you actually can't always get from FPDS. We give you vendor information like their DUNS number, which is always included in FPDS, obviously, but we also give you the vendor socioeconomic status. In FPDS, sometimes you'll just see one of these included. You won't see all of the inclusions that you usually get for a business, but we just show you all the socioeconomic categories that they fall into as a business. So you can see this first one here: small business, minority-owned, SBA certified 8A program participant, SBA certified SDB, small business, and woman-owned. And you can scroll through. We've put the information here that seems relevant, but if anyone who goes on the site later plays around with it and has any suggestions of something else they'd like to see in this table, feel free again to just shoot me an email and we'll try to accommodate you. But we show the contracting office, type of contract, competition category, type of set-aside, offers received, then provide you with the base and all options value and the obligated amount. So that's the basic drill through here. This is helpful in kind of drilling down to a specific small business category. It's a little bit faster, I think, than doing it in FPDS&G, and it's a little more. The format is a little more friendly. But if you wanted to play around with this data yourself and look at that in Excel, we have that option to do that. For all of our reports, though, if you do want to export to Excel, in the parameters on the right-hand side, just at the very bottom, you're going to see open hyperlinks in a new window. If you want to export to Excel, just go ahead and click on that. It's always going to be set to Y. That's because if you click on, let's say, a link to a PID, you want to open that in a new window. You don't want to open it in the window of the current report you're looking at, or the current report you're looking at will disappear. So after you run that, open hyperlinks in a new window, switch to N, go to Actions, Export, Excel. We'll open that right up. It's going to look just like the report online. So this is the Excel right here. And usually what I do first thing is I just highlight that top row that has all the different categories in it. Highlight everything else. Click on the Data tab, then click Filter. So then we can filter by vendor. We can filter by contracting office. But that's just my preference. You can really do whatever you want with this after you export it. All right, so that's the basic idea of our drill through. Go back to the PowerPoint here real quick. On these detail reports, like we just went over, we do show those 2 charts that has the breakdown of the top vendors and the spend by month. And then you can also, again, click through into FPDS&G and look at every contract action report that falls into that category. Someone just asked, this report, does it allow you to search by states within the civilian agency? So let me see here. We don't allow you to search that way. We just don't have that parameter to do it by state. But what we could do is throw the principal place of performance state into this chart here. So if you signed on and you wanted to export it to Excel, you could just filter by state and make a choice that way, just like I'm doing currently by filtering by the contracting office. We just set that up for states, and you can go ahead and pick and choose those. And not a bad idea. We'll add that to the list. Okay, move on here. So on the next page of our small business dashboard, we're going to feature one of our popular FedDataCheck data checks that deals with small business. This is check 121. This is where there's a difference between the contracting officer's business size determination in FedDataCheck's and what it says in sam.gov for that vendor. And this, of course, is by NAICS code. So it's looking at those reps and certs in SAM and then comparing with each NAICS code what the business size determination is. So I'm going to go out again to the website here, and we can change it up. We'll go to, let's go to GSA. Actually, I'll stick with this for now because it's already up. I'm going to click on page 2 right here on the kind of upper middle of the dashboard. Page 2, SV size mismatch. All right. So once this opens up, what you're going to want to do is just look at the, you can read our whole report here that has the description of this data check and the reasoning. And we also have some notes here about SAM. There's always a chance we could be wrong when we flag these. The business size determination is kind of locked in when a vendor submits a proposal. So if there's a period of time between the proposal being submitted, the bid being submitted, and the award actually happening where they have a size change, we're going to flag whatever the size was of the business when the award was made. So there's always a chance we'd be wrong. We haven't had that situation come up yet, to my knowledge, but there's always a chance, so I'd like to highlight that. And if I scroll through this report, you can see that we say, we give you all the relevant award information, but we also put in here CO business size determination, and then right next to it, SAM business indicator. And then also there's the SAM small business exception indicators. Good rule of thumb here is whenever if you see anything in there, it's going to likely mean it's not a small business. But if I look through everything that's an O in the CO business size determination, that's an other than small business. And right next to it, if there's a Y, that means that in SAM they are a small business and the award would likely be changed. There's always a chance SAM could be incorrect, but from what we've seen, this check's been around for, I guess, almost a year now. 90% of the time, SAM is the accurate record. And, not all awards, obviously, are high dollar value awards, but when these instances happen, you can kind of start chipping away at those miscodes and start just slowly adding more and more money to those small business goals. So that's this report here. This is a report that's actionable. It's about looking what's out there that might be miscoded, getting those codes and correcting them. Page 3 of the report, actually let me go to the PowerPoint right here and make sure I'm not missing going over a poll or anything like that. Page 3 of the report, we'll go over here. I'm actually going to jump over to GSA PBS. So page 3 of the dashboard is where we show the small business coding corrections report. So really these are just contract action reports where someone went in to that check 121 and made a correction, and it was corrected from other than small business to small business. So this report tracks the improvement in small business rate after an award was flagged for check number 121. So I'm going to go to GSA PBS because there's actually a pretty good success story there. GSA PBS Central Office increased their 8A spend by 16%. We'll go to that example award in a minute, but let's go to the actual dashboard page. So if I jump over to page 3, coding corrections, and right now on the right-hand side, you can see I've selected the office codes. Any office codes you select, if you jump around from page to page, those will hold through, and you don't have to worry about rerunning the report. So right now I'm looking at all the PBS Central Office codes. And one award pops up. It's $1.6 million, which was added from their large business to their small business spend after an email was sent out from FedDataCheck informing them of the miscode. I'm going to go into FPDS&G now, and we'll take a look at the award. So this is an action obligation of $1.6 million. It's a mod 0. All of these awards are going to be mod 0s, the ones that are flagged. I'm going to scroll down. You can see business types. Alaskan Native corporation-owned firm, minority-owned, Native American-owned, self-certified, small disadvantaged business. All of these are going to be benefited because the CO business size changed from other than small business to small business. keep scrolling down here. So originally when this award went up in this CEO business size determination, it said other than small business, but it was an 8A sole source. So it's good that this one was flagged and they were able to go in and make that correction. And by doing that, they got to add $1.6 million to their small business goaling, but also their 8A goaling. So if I hop back to the dashboard, I'm going to go from page 3 back to page 1 now. And we're going to look at their 8A spend. You can see for their 8A, that's this category right here, highlighted it. It's $10 million. So they added just about 16%, $1.6 million to just under $10.1 million. You know, their small business 8A spend is 12.56% of their total eligible contracts and dollars there. So that, you know, that's a great thing. They were able to go in, push those numbers up, and that's one of the real benefits of this report and the associated email that went out for that data check. And we're going to go over emails in a different capacity here in a second. But let me just kind of open it up. If anyone has any questions about this report or any of the other reports in this dashboard. All right, no questions. I'm going to hop over real quick, kind of take a step back. We had mentioned earlier that award for OPM, open from the PowerPoint here. This was an OPM award where it was an acquisition on behalf of a foreign government, so it was a foreign-funded award. And again, how much was that worth? Let's just double check. That was worth $1.5 million. So, you know, not low or, you know, not crazy high, but significant. If I go to that report for OPM, that $1.5 million does make a difference. I mean, it would increase their small business. You know, small business goaling would, you know, be increased by about 1%. And it would benefit. So really, it's, you know, it's all about being able to track these miscodes and the correctly coded awards and just make sure that the actual representation of the work that's been done to get these small business awards is shown at the end of the year in these reports. And the actual record, the official record, is going to be that FPDS&G report that follows that logic. So when we point these ones out that are being thrown out of our report, it's also being thrown out of that report too. So it's good to go in and fix those if a flag happens. So I'm going to jump back to the PowerPoint. We're going to go over our last bit here, which is new email alerts. That's, you know, it's a lot of what FedDataCheck is known for. I'm sure most of you, at least if you're subscribers of FedDataCheck, you've received or at least aware of the data check emails that we have. We have other email alerts that go out related to competition and competitive one bid, strategic sourcing. But this would be a different email alert. And whenever we have an email alert, it's really based on something that we see in FPDS&G. And if certain logic hits, then an email is triggered. And that email usually will go out to the updated by user or the created by user in FPDS&G. So the basic idea of these small business, you know, small business emails, emails that are meant to help increase that small business spend, is we're looking at expiring other than small business awards. And an email is going to be triggered for this award when the award is currently set to expire in 6 months. So every day, we're just going to look 6 months in the future, any award that's expiring then, where the vendor is an other than small business. The award is competed, and the total spend, based on all options value, is above the SAT. So when that happens, the email would be triggered, and it would go to the contracting officer and contracting specialist, and it's going to look like this. Real quick. It would have your agency's or department's logo right here. We're going to tell you right up top, no actions required. This is really just informational purposes only. And I'm going to go ahead and close my browsers here, just so this link that I'm going to use in a second works. And we just give you that information that I just went over again. We say, you know, this is being flagged because this was awarded to an OTSB vendor. It was competed. It had a base on all options value above the SAT, and it's going to expire in approximately 6 months. and we allow you to then do some market research. Again, just like all of our alerts, we include a link to go out to FedDataCheck's so you can look at the award yourself. But right here under this column, Conduct Market Research, click that right here. It's going to ask me to sign in. And you'll be provided with a credential within that email to use to actually access this report. So while this loads, I'll pop over to the PowerPoint real quick and tell you what it's looking at. This market research report is going to show awards that have the same NAICS code as the award that was flagged in that email that's expiring in 6 months. It's also going to show awards where the CO business size determination was small business, and that the vendors truly do have a small business socioeconomic flag in SAM. The awards are going to be to, these awards that are coming up are going to have a place of performance within 50 miles of the place of performance of the award that was flagged in the email. We want to, if it's something specific like, for lack of a better example, plumbing, you would want to find plumbers in the same area, that kind of thing. And then the awards also are going to show contracts that were contracted by your department. You do have the option in the report to go ahead and make adjustments to that if you want to open it up, but we just have it preset to match your department. All right, so I clicked on that award here. Actually, I'm going to go back to the email real quick and let's look at the actual award that's flagged. We'll see what it's for. All right, so this is an agriculture award from the Forest Service. It's taking a second here. Sometimes FEDS is a little bit slow. Okay, here we go. I'm going to scroll down and we'll see what was purchased. Principal place of performance, looks like it was in Oregon. The product or service code is natural resource, conservation, forest, fire rehabilitation, non-construction, and the NAICS code is logging. So in our report, our market research report, logging is going to be the NAICS code. The principal place of performance zip code of 97845 is going to be in there, and we're going to have a range of 50 miles for a radius search. So I'm going to open that report now. Not a huge number of vendors out there, it looks like, or not a huge number of awards. Here we're going to show you the number of awards by top 10 zip codes. Right now it's just the one. Here it's all going to be agriculture, because again, agriculture was the department that had that initial award. The NAICS industry groups, this is actually the 4-digit NAICS code, so it's kind of a broader search. The one that's popped up here is logging, because that's what we searched for. The specific NAICS code is logging. And then we have the number of awards by cumulative obligated level. That's broken down. And then also, finally on the end, we have a number of awards by vendor socioeconomic group. And again, those awards can fall into multiple categories because there are different numbers of, you can have both. You can be a woman-owned business and you can be a small business. I'm going to scroll over here. We're going to look at the actual content of the report. Important to notice here, it says incumbent designated below by rows with green background. So these green ones, that's the actual incumbent of this award. They would be included as well. But you can see here, and this is actually interesting now that I'm looking at it. That award was flagged as an other than small business, and that looks like a coding error. If you look into the vendor socioeconomic status, unless that has changed since, and maybe it could be true by the specific NAICS code, but at least for here, they do have a small business designation, so they could be a small business for some NAICS codes. But all of these out here, they're all going to be small business. They're all going to get awards for that NAICS code, and their contracting officer's business size determination was small. So we give you vendor point of contact information. This is something that we get directly from SAM, but it gets a point of contact at other companies that are small businesses, gives you their phone number and email address. So if you wanted to reach out, ask for a capability statement, inform them of an upcoming recompete that's going to happen, something you could do for market research. We also, I'll scroll over, we show you how far away the work is being done from the zip code that we started out with. On the very end, we give you the contracting officer, contracting specialist's email information / username for FedDataCheck's. Sometimes that's one and the same. But if you wanted to reach out to a colleague and get some information on that vendor, you could do it right there. So this report tries to assist in a timely manner with market research for expiring awards to help push that small business number up. Again, actually, I don't think I've mentioned it, but I always should. This information is coming from publicly available sources. None of this is coming from FedDataCheck or Potomac Wave. This is all pulled from SAM.gov and FedDataCheck. This data is just compiled by us. All right. So, any questions about the market research report and the associated emails? I'll keep it open. If anyone's thinking of questions, continue thinking of questions, but I'm going to pop over and open up our last poll here. So the emails are, we think it's a good idea. We like the market research report, but no one actually uses the emails yet. This is actually us announcing them for the first time today that that's an offer. So now I'm going to ask the question, would you be interested in receiving an email like this that would link you to our market research report and have that information? All answers are anonymous, so feel free to be honest with us. All right, I'll keep it going for another 20 seconds here. Well, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop it now because we're ahead. I'll close it. All right, so we were at 67% said yes, 33% said no, which is totally fine. If anyone is interested in this, feel free to reach out to us directly. Or if you go and sign on to the FedDataCheck site, you can reach out to your department or your agency's point of contact for FedDataCheck and let them know that you'd be interested in this, and we can start setting that up for you. Let me see here. I'm going to pop open my PowerPoint real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything here. We did our final poll. So yeah, that's all I have. I'm going to go over some information that we do go over every week here. But thanks everyone for your time today. Thanks for everyone who listens to this on YouTube in the future. Again, if you're listening on YouTube, when you go to the dashboard, there could be other features that we didn't mention because at FedDataCheck, we always try to add more features, and after we get feedback, that's likely to happen. But I'll stay on the line after I go over this last part here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand, or I can unmute you. I'll stay on the line. So FedDataCheck, we always encourage people to go to our YouTube page. All you have to do is type in FedDataCheck into YouTube, and that'll pop up. If you hit subscribe, we always appreciate it. We're trying to get to the magic number of 100 so we can have a nice-looking URL, not one that's just all a bunch of jumbled together numbers. But anyone who does subscribe, we appreciate it. We also have a FedDataCheck event calendar that's linked in all of our webinar invites. So if you look at that, you can see what's upcoming, and you can always register in advance for these. And all of the webinars that we do have are on YouTube. You can get CLP points for attending these FedDataCheck webinars. Currently, we have this set up with the following agencies: NOAA, NIST, Interior, Fish and Wildlife, SEC, Education, and Treasury. And that does seem to change every few weeks, so we might have some additional ones now. Anybody can try to get credit. Well, and anyone can try to get credit. If you reach out to us and let us know, or you want to reach out to a supervisor to reach out to us, submit to FATAS, and that would be great. Quick Potomac Wave overview. This is what we usually don't do at the beginning, just because we had done it a lot in the past, and people have heard it before. But we were founded in 2007, headquartered in Alexandria, Virginia. We're a woman-owned small business mostly. We've lost that status on some awards, but there are certain vehicles out there that we still have that socioeconomic status / small business category. We're a Microsoft certified partner, business intelligence and portals. Our prime contracting vehicles are GSA's OASIS, MOBIS, PES, IT Schedule 70, FABs, Navy Seaport E, DNDO BPA for system engineering. Our client satisfaction rated by Dun & Bradstreet in the highest tier achievable. And now, last page here, FedDataCheck overview. It is important, if you're a subscriber to FedDataCheck, sometimes people don't know about all of our features that are available to you. And if you're not a subscriber, if anything, piques your interest here, feel free to reach out to me via email. The overview of our different procurement metric tools is we improve FPDS&G data quality. We automate the annual FPDS&G verification and validation review. We help to decrease competitive won bids while increasing competition rates. We monitor higher risk vendors and those with debt subject to offset. We increase subaward reporting, and we increase reported 8A procedure dollars. We do top vendor analysis, quicker, faster, easier market research tools, one that we did go over today. Increasing category management utilization, also known as strategic sourcing. And we improve USA spending grants data quality. We have 13 federal agencies currently subscribing with us, and we're a fixed price subscription service. So if anyone out there is not currently a subscriber to FedDataCheck, you'll see our total, all of our subscribers here. Feel free to reach out to me via email, and I'll answer any questions you might have. We do offer FedDataCheck and a trial basis for reduced cost. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I'll stay on the line for a few minutes if anyone has any questions. But other than that, thanks for your time today, and everyone have a nice weekend.